In the summer of 1827, the small town of Milbrook, New York was gripped by fear. In just 3 months, 17 unexplained deaths struck the community. Men, women, even children, healthy one day, dead the next. At first, townsfolk whispered of cholera or bad water from the Erie Canal. But then a chilling pattern emerged. Every single body passed through one place. Hartwell Sons Funeral Parlor. The Hartwell family were respected undertakers. Jacob Hartwell, the stern patriarch. His son Elias, an apprentice embalmer. And his wife Martha, who comforted grieving families with tea and prayer. Outwardly, they seemed pious, devoted, trustworthy. But in truth, they were hiding something unspeakable. The strange smells. Dr. Jonathan Harrison, the town physician, was the first to suspect. He noted that nearly every death certificate listed vague causes: fever, consumption, natural decline. Yet these victims had been healthy. One night, walking home past the Hartwell parlor, Harrison caught a sharp, chemical stench drifting from the cellar. He described it later as a mix of lye, rot, and something metallic. Curiosity turned to dread when Harrison peered through a basement window. He swore he saw a body, moving. Not twitching, not nerves, but rising from a table. The first investigation. Harrison confronted Jacob Hartwell, demanding access to the embalming cellar. Hartwell, with his cold smile, insisted. "Doctor, once the dead are in our care, they belong to God. Not you." But Harrison wouldn't relent. With the help of Sheriff Creed, who many say was too friendly with the Hartwells, Harrison forced his way inside. What they found was grotesque. Behind locked doors lay a secret chamber. Inside were rows of dissected corpses. Some missing organs. Some stitched with animal parts. And some, still alive, yet unresponsive, breathing shallowly, as though caught between life and death. In his journal, Harrison wrote, "These are not corpses. They are experiments." The disappearance. When Harrison returned days later with townsfolk to expose the Hartwells, the cellar was empty. Tables scrubbed clean. No bodies, no chemicals, nothing. Worse, the Hartwells were gone. Their home abandoned, coffins missing from storage. The only clue was a blood trail leading from the parlor into the woods. It vanished near a limestone cave by the river. The cave smelled of rot, and contained dozens of tiny coffins, no larger than a child's doll, each filled with ash and hair. Harrison begged Sheriff Creed to search deeper, but Creed refused. Some whispered that Creed himself had been paid in gold to keep the Hartwells safe. That night, Harrison barely escaped when strangers surrounded his home, trying to set it ablaze. Oregon, 1841. For years, the story of the Hartwells was nothing but legend. Until 14 years later, 1841, Oregon Territory. Settlers uncovered a cabin deep in the woods. Inside, crude medical equipment, iron restraints, and journals filled with drawings of human dissection and resurrection experiments. Among the settlers was none other than Elias Hartwell, now a grown man. Captured and put on trial, Elias confessed under oath that his family had been poisoning townsfolk, staging their deaths, and using their bodies for advancement of medicine. He described his father Jacob's obsession, that death was not an ending, but a doorway that could be forced open. When pressed about the other corpses, Elias said chillingly, "We were not the only family. There are others, across New England. We learned from them, and they still continue." The execution. Elias was hanged in 1842. His last words were, "Death is not the end. Father will return for me." Jacob, Martha, and the rest of the family were never seen again. Some claim they fled to Canada. Others say they still moved in secret among frontier towns, practicing their craft. Dr. Harrison vanished mysteriously in 1830, his home burned to the ground, his journals missing. Only fragments of his notes survived in a New York historical society. The legacy of fear. Even now, old gravestones in Milbrook bear strange markings, circles within circles, said to be the Hartwell family's sigil. Locals warn not to linger near the abandoned limestone caves after dark. Strange lights flicker there, and sometimes, voices echo, as if calling from underground. What began as simple undertakers became a family of murderers, grave robbers, and occult surgeons. The Hartwells remind us. Sometimes, the real horror is not the grave. It's those who stand beside it, smiling. Waiting for you to fall in.